Now, I really had something for you. I went for one of Invictus event voters preference survey, and I got one of the books for you. Why we don't vote people with disability, persons with disability, and it's in my bag. I really thought I was going to see you. By the time everything just did, I was like, yeah. Let me just say, my Abuja trip was a whirlwind. That's the only way to. Nim's looking at me with no mercy in her eyes. God will fight for me. Don't worry, my ladies, please. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Don't worry.
No problems for me.
There's
In all fairness,
this Amala thing
Madam Tom actually invited me, but I had another event that was clashing, the effect of climate change on persons with disabilities. So, and it's a 2-day program. The previous day, I was actually at that National Assembly stuff because I had another prior meeting where we're talking of inclusive transportation here in Abuja. So I was supposed to be there, but I also needed to be at this climate change event. So I didn't know how to divide myself. I just said, well, let me focus on one. Kima Shiramileshi. But it's good to know you came and left. But surely we'll meet again.
Yes, we'll meet again. It paid me, make I know like it paid me. I was like, oh crap, I'm not gonna see. And I didn't want to call. Like when you call and say, I'm in your town, can we see? And then you now cannot see. Then that one, so I was just like, it's better to just but yes, let's get into it this morning. Nima, over to you.
Okay. I'm going to start with this doctor who said husbands can be so annoying. Well, I can't tell, I don't have one. But today is my parents' wedding anniversary, so I'm wishing them a very happy wedding anniversary.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if my daddy is like this husband's, but may God continue.
Tell us what he means by these husbands.
Who can be so annoying? Ma, I don't know.
No, so if you slide through, he says, wife go rush husband, come hospital, give full medical history, go even give you differential. Husband go rush wife come hospital. It go be like say na bystander bring patient come. So annoying. I'm going to start with Buki this morning. Buki, is this the experience with you? Because even with the children, it is said that when there's a difference when the men take the kids to school or go to register the kids at school or go for open day as compared to when the mommy goes. Is this, I mean, we can't talk about it from your personal perspective as a child as well, when your parents took you to school, like the difference between when mom is mom, when it's daddy, and but for Buki, when it is husband, and do you find that your husband knows the same things that you know, or is it a case of you cover for each other? Yes, but over to you, Buki.
Okay, can you hear me? Is it clear?
Yes, Fantastic. Yes.
Let me start from my own experience. I grew up that my own mom knew everything. My dad, because of the nature of his job, he will not fall into that type. But that does not mean he doesn't know one or two. It might not be 100%, but one or two. Right? One or two, yeah. But getting married, it was the opposite. I'm telling you, it was the opposite. And that's why today I celebrate my husband. He knows virtually everything, even more than I do as a mother. He was intentional. And you probably want to find out, okay, what made him like this? It was a decision he made when he was young, right? Because of course, the father, these people who worked in the Nigerian railway rather, that took them to Ghana, and all that, and then of course, the father had to stay back in Ghana. So it was the grandfather, it was his own grandfather that brought them to Nigeria when he was 5 years old. And he must have seen, all those experiences to say, no, this is not what I want. I will be there for my children. and I'll get to know everything. So in terms of open day, in fact, if you ask my children, they will tell you that when they see mommy, they are surprised. They'll be asking, Daddy, where's mommy? Daddy, where's mommy? Because they already know that it's daddy that will come. You understand? So so though they will see him before seeing me, I'll probably be packing things in the car and blah 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 blah. But when I have to go, he's not available. They'll be saying, "Where's daddy? Where's daddy?" So it was something that he did intentionally. Wrapping it up, I do not want to blame anybody, but it's true. It's true that I've seen cases. I've seen cases, where the men, the fathers do not know so much. Do we blame them? Maybe after today's discussion, we will blame them for those who listen. It's something that they did not see their own fathers do. Look at this situation. A young girl comes to the father to say, "Oh, daddy, they asked us to get our blood type." The father will say, "I don't know. Go and ask your mommy." The child comes again. "Oh, they told us to know your our family tree in school. They gave us an assignment." Oh, daddy says, "Look, you know what? Your mommy is better." Indirectly, you're already telling the child that, as a father, particularly if the child is a boy, leave these things to the girl. They are better. But after today's discussion, let's change our mindset. I mean, I can celebrate my husband because he decided, he was intentional that no, I must get to know everything about my children. That in fact he's happy more than myself. And it's just an advice so that we can change this thermometer reading. Men, or don't let me say men, fathers, get to know everything that happens in the family, things around your wife. If you profess to say you love, you understand, take time, be present. Present does not mean you are physically, it's part of it, but getting to know everything that is happening, how they feel, what is happening to them, you know, what they feel, what is happening to them, how they react, their likes, when they're not happy, what is making them too happy, when they need you, you're there, you're not running off. You're not running off to say, "Oh, I need to go and catch a friend. I need to go and do this," taking a bit of sacrifices, on their behalf. And before you know what is happening, the children would love to appreciate you. Yeah, so that's it. What are you going home with now with what I have said? If you have not been doing it, be intentional today. Take that decision, change that mindset, create that time. What you have lost, sit down with your children, tell them you want to get to know them more. You can even start with yourself. Let them get to know you more so that you can use that avenue to get to know them more. And then, of course, your wife, ask her a lot of questions. It brings bonding into the family. Thank you.
All right, Susan, over to you. Is this your experience too, or was this your experience too when you were, back at uni or back at school? Who was more present? Was it daddy? Was it mommy? Or was it equal? I find that with a lot of when you go around town or when you go for open days, when you go for school activities, you find more women than you find men. Even when you go to the hospitals with kids, your kid is ill, you find more women at the hospitals, even antenatal, right? I think we have discussed this before on here, how even at antenatal appointments you find only women. You find the women with maybe their sisters, or the women with maybe their moms. You hardly
Or
find,
mother-in-laws.
or mother-in-laws, or you hardly find them with their husbands. What could be the cause of this? Is it the men being providers mentality? Oh, I don't need to be going to do these things. What could be the cause of it? Go ahead, Susan.
Okay, so for me, I would say I have a present dad. My dad has been present and, continues to be present. I used to write it on my status on my WhatsApp that I'm sure if anything happens to me, the only person who would be worried after 2 days if he doesn't see my call or doesn't get a message from me would be my father. Yes, and it's been so for each of us, for the different schools we have attended and what have you. The person, though my mom always comes along, but my dad is that person who would give you the various details. And I like the fact that the doctor raised that it's not only about the hospital. Have you thought of when mothers travel and the house is turned upside down, downside up, because the father does not even know the children's preferences, what they would like to have, and what have you. And even as little as paracetamol to give your child when he's running temperature, the man cannot do. And I think it's an individual thing because I'm also this person who does not like to generalize. While it is predominantly, in the open that most men are passive, there are also very intentional men who know the very details about different things around their children and all of that. And I think it's an individual thing, like what Mambuki said. You see, whether it happened to you, maybe you saw something had happened to someone else, and you take a cue. You just want to do better. You want to be that person who is present in the life of your children. There are things my dad knows about me that my mom doesn't know. As I speak, there are things, not because my dad is someone, he doesn't condone evil or anything, but I feel safer. I feel that with him, he will give me wise counsel. My mom would give me wise counsel. But there's what we call your safe space. And my dad is that safe space. For me, as a first daughter, I don't know, but we're that close. We are that close. If we start speaking, people might not even want to interject because that conversation might take us 1 hour. So if I haven't spoken to him for 2 days, I'm going to give him a breakdown of everything. Oh, on Thursday I was here. This was how the program went. On Friday, that is, he is in my details. He knows what happened. So I think this is also a call to action. Some people might not be doing these things intentionally. We understand these things. And this is why we are trying to raise awareness. Just know the details. And for me, as a person with disability, it also reflects in children who have certain medications they might need to take. And you see, it's only that woman that bears that burden. The father does not even know the medications your child with a special need has to take. And so once your wife is sick or once your wife is not available, your child suffers more. So it's important that we create spaces where both the father and the mother are present, not just hospitals, both schools. It is not news that most of the PTA meetings and what have you, you see more mothers than fathers. It is a known fact. If you go to different schools, you see it play out. You don't even need anybody to tell you. So fathers should also intentionally be present in the life of their children. It helps you bond. It helps your children open up to you. It helps them not see you as a stranger, because some children also see their fathers as, no, I can't. Oh, there's this fear around your father. Because, no, I can't. Oh, he must not hear it. Oh, this and that. While that is good too, my dad will always tell us growing up, I want you to respect me. I don't want you to fear me. And there's a huge difference in these two. Let your children respect you as a father. They shouldn't fear you. If they fear you, there's a problem. It means they will automatically hide certain things that ordinarily they should be open. You should be able to bond with your children, whether in school, in church, at home, anywhere it is, you should be able to bond. So I think fathers should improve and do better. It's not a fact that it's not as if we're calling you out, but indirectly we're also calling you out and telling you to do better. Yes, accept the best goes from the bottom of my heart. To do better, it's a way to also say improve. Children are on holidays. We know you are very busy trying to make ends meet, but can you as well create time? Even if it's weekend, don't occupy the whole of your weekend with so many things that you don't even have time to discuss and know what's happening in the life of your children, including teenagers. That is where they fall back to outsiders and people who they feel they can tell. And if those people are not people who are knowledgeable, they will give them the wrong advice. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As we round off this particular topic, I think the onus, the consensus, not the onus, the generally is that it's not, like I would typically say, it's not only you that, it's not only the woman that born the child.
Yeah,
The
two people.
It's two people that came together to procreate. So it's important that both parents, both parties are very well invested in, raising the family, taking care of the children. If mommy knows the genotype of child C, that it should also know the genocide or genocide, okay, genotype of child C. Mommy knows the favorite food. It should be. That doesn't mean that both of them will know the same things. Like in what Susan and Buki have said. Susan says her dad is her own safe space, right? She's fine with me, but that's my guy, and that's the same thing with other people. You find a lot of people say, "Oh, my dad is my guy. My dad is the
Yeah,
person I."
pretty true.
Exactly. So that's it. Okay. This is still Women Radio 91.7 FM, the voice of women. We are live on YouTube at WFM 917. You can listen to us on the go via our website, www.wfm917.com. The phone lines are open 07000 917 917 09155 917 917 or 0800 1235 917. Call us to tell us what your opinion is, your thoughts are on the who knows who more, like, and what do you what are your thoughts on it? Do you think men need to start getting more involved in the caretaking part of the home of the children, or it's just like, oh, that's how God made all of us, let's leave it like that? Okay, the ladies are here. Ibn Abba is not here, unfortunately. Susan and Buki are here. Myself and Nima are here as well. We're going to go to the next one. Over to you, Nima.
Okay, so this writer Chisom says her son will not marry a woman older than him. And last week we talked about a pastor saying her son will not marry. Okay, men should not marry women older than them because that's a big red flag.
Now, let me give you backstory. This person said it's because of the P Square drama that has been going on,
Okay.
right? Because Peter got married to Lola years ago, and there's a significant, I think, number of years in between them. So there's been back and forth as to, okay, why are you upset that he's married to an older person? Especially, this is 18 years after they've been married for a while. Also, number two is the question of when she was the one funding their lifestyle, you were okay with
I
him
wonder.
being with an older woman.
Woman.
Yeah, but yeah, go ahead, Nima.
But I just have a question to ask Buki. Do you think the parents have the right to come
Mm,
out to say my child cannot marry this and my child cannot marry that?
that's a good question.
As long as you are the age of responsibility, the age of accountability, no parent can give you that kind of instruction. They can only guide you, they can advise you, they can coach you. But at the age of 18, by law, you should be ready to face the consequences. However, if you have trained your children when they were young and they have seen over time that your guidance, your instructions have made them to be a better person or have made them to make better choices, there's a possibility that when you give an instruction, they follow because of what has been laid, you know. But if you have not, if you have not done the needful, if you have not done the foundational issue, and then you just come one day because you are the parent and you are saying, no way, no way, no way, it won't work. There will be a lot of frictions, and things like that. To answer your question, once you are above 18, you don't. But because you are still a parent, at that age, what they need is guidance, to be a coach, to be a friend, to be a mentor, to give advice, and tell them there However, there are some times, and those are extremes, when you know that, coconut head is there and you do not really want this guy, because you've seen it all. I mean, where you are seated, you've seen it all. You've seen different experiences. As a parent, yes, you can put your feet down, to say, hey, this is it. Like, for instance, there was a conversation with the family yesterday, and somewhere along the line, the mother had that the daughter was planning the wedding, and she was now saying, oh, she will go and do the court wedding, church blessing, reception, and then maybe later, when they have the money, they'll go and do the traditional wedding, at their own time. That the one that is important to them is this one, that engagement. Okay, but if the parents have the money, and let them, it was so funny. When the mother had, she had to put her foot down to say, no, it will not be culturally, I mean, from Yoruba, that is the wedding. It is because we live in a governmental system and the woman has to be protected. That's why you do the court wedding. And then, of course, because you are Christians, then the church blessing comes to that. That in Africa, as long as you're in this house, that engagement must come before it. And she had no choice, So she had no choice. She had to fall in line. So there are things like that no. You put your feet down. But generally speaking, no. So for her saying, my son will not marry whatever a young and an older woman and all that. It depends on what you have laid, as foundation for them to check it out, that, oh, mommy is talking. And normally when mommy talk, these things, if you do not follow whatever, where it will go, it will not be good. Oh, let me follow what mommy knows the best, yeah. So that's it. But generally speaking, let me add my own voice to this. And I think we've mentioned it before. It's your choice. You need to look at it. There are success stories and there are bad stories, right? But how you lay your bed is how you're going to lie on it. I told you that I know two couples that the age difference is 10 years. But when you hear what the ladies say, the ladies are the younger ones, you will need to learn patience, respect, understanding your role as a wife, not as a junior sister or not as a senior sister, because you have submitted yourself to the institution of marriage. So they would say things like, yes, I have to understand my role as a wife, as a helpmeet for my husband. I am a wife. Yes, I know my age. I'm 10 years older. So in terms of wisdom, in terms of maturity, in terms of reasoning, I know better. And I use that. That is where submission, this submission that we are talking, I use that strength that I have, to make my marriage work. Because you are not there in the marriage to say, after all, I'm 10 years older than you. I'm 5 years older than you. You understand? That will not work in a marriage. You will want to scatter it. But understanding your role as a wife and then the strength that you have, you now subject it to work things out in that marriage. And and when you see both of them, you will not even know until except they tell you, because there's everybody respects, even the man. The man respects, the wife. It will not, it doesn't, I mean, you know, things that you see normal age gaps do. That's it. Full respect from both of them, which means that both of them submit to one another. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your submission, Pookie. What you said about if the woman speaks and the foundation she has laid down It's mostly mommy the dragon. If we say no now, people come for
Mhm.
us. Anyway, over to you, Susan.
Okay, so while I totally agree with Mambuki, foundation matters and all of that, but I have this question in my head. When we marry older men, why does all of these shenanigans not show up?
Thank you very much for that question. Go ahead.
Because I mean, why do we have people raising such concerns when the woman is the older one? Why? When it is
Susan,
we
we're
have
in a
seen men.
patriarchal society.
You see, that's the problem. That's the problem. That's why I will always be a feminist, because I mean, even women who are younger also absorb a lot of things that we cannot begin to analyze this morning for me. It's a whole lot of things. And while we look at, yes, the Peter Okoye, can we also look at the Dare at Alades, who are doing amazingly well? There are also marriages of, I mean, people who are older who are also doing well. We do not hear any fracas. Not because, and I keep wondering why the problem that they have is with their career. Why does it have anything to do with the wife? Why? Why does it have anything? Why do people, I have listened, and trust me, my head is empty. Why do people attach what is happening to the wife? What if she was younger? I mean, his twin is married to someone way younger. And nobody is saying, oh, you are not even pushing your husband. But because it is known in quotes that this person is older, yes, I believe in parental guardian and all of that. But at the end of the day, I am also looking for someone who is compatible, who understands me, who even carries my vision on his head more than I can carry it. If you are not that supportive, if I do not see those green lights, trust me, you are not for me. If you like, be my age mate, be younger, or be a grandfather to me. Kole work, kotiele work, rara, because at the end of the day, head or tail, they will call the woman. A man passes on, the woman. Fracas in career, the woman. Fracas in family, the woman. Kilo that day. Should we disappear? Now, woman will be, we no keep person. Thank you.
You ended, Susan, because we just every when there's family issues between the brother and maybe his mom and his siblings, there's a problem. There was a question or a thought that somebody had shared on this. And I know I'm bringing the P Square thing back again. And the question was that, is it, and I want to generalize it, is it because she's older, or is it because they don't have access to their brother as much? And I know I'm delving into another conversation because this even happens when there's
I
no
actually tell
age.
my sisters and everybody in my house that when my brother gets married, they should be careful of blaming his wife.
Yeah. So I think so. That's another question I want the ladies to answer. Is it because yes, we have an issue like Buki rightly said with age. We've not gotten to the part where to that point where we are accepting of a woman being older, because there's always thought that okay, maybe a woman there's pride and all of that.
Yes.
But Buki,
She'll feel like she has arrived.
yes, but Buki, is it because she's older, or is it because there is no access? The or access has been limited.
We have not accepted it as something that can occur. We are still looking at it that possible now. Why would a woman be older? Who told us that it should be the man that should be older? The reason why people feel the man should be older, we got all these things from our culture. When the man will marry the first wife, second wife, and as the man is marrying first, second, the ages are younger, getting younger, and then it becomes a mindset, a pattern that okay, normally the man, should be older than the wife, right? And then, of course, because in the institution of marriage, the expectation is, which is right, the man should go ahead and start putting things together. At least basic thing, you have a bed, you have a table and a chair. Even if you don't have television, you at least you have your kitchen utensils to cook, and you have a roof over your head. They will have expected that the man will have, in this day and age, graduated, probably start work, and have those basic things. Then you can now bring, the wife in. So these are the things that people have put together, that okay, ideally the man should actually be older. But hey, let's understand, things are changing now. It's a mindset that we have. People have not accepted it that much, but now you will find out that some people are already accepting it. They will tell you that age is just a number. Once you are ready to submit, to the rules and codes of that institution called marriage, you understand? Yeah, then it is. Even for the younger ones that are marrying older men, you know that they still have some issues. It's just that we've not been able to discuss it. It's not rosy like that. I know someone who was, she wasn't really complaining, but she was just telling me that, oh, at times she wishes that she got married to somebody in the age bracket, 3 years, 4 years, and all that. She said, because you see, the issue is that if I have to go, when I go out, it is the older men that I sit down with, and I don't enjoy their conversation. You understand? Okay, why did you now enter the marriage? Because of the way the man was caring for me. Of course, there was money, and the man was just there. I mean, he listened to me, he cared for me. So I said, okay, it was because you had issues. Nobody was giving you attention. The younger ones are not giving attention, and what you needed, you saw it in this man. So stick there, stay there, understand the thing. As you are also having, what do you call it, the man's friend around you, enjoy that conversation, right? Enjoy their conversation. And then, of course, somewhere along the line, let him also know that some of the things that you do, that he does, you do not like it, and that there are some things that you would love to do. So if you have to go out with your own friends or whatever it is, within a safe space, you understand, within a safe space, yeah. But we also know that at times, if the man is not there emotionally, these younger wives, they go out, to get their emotional and sexual urge and things like that sorted out. So they also have issues as well. But coming to the women, it's because we have not really accepted it. And you know what? I'll use that to wrap up. The reason why people have not started accepting it, most people that are in that situation, they don't tell people. It's only those that are close, to them. They feel, don't let me tell people. And that's why people say, really? Kilori. But hey, people are now getting freer to talk. So over time, we find out that people will accept. Thank you.
All right, before we go,
Over to you, Susan.
Okay. Please, can you refresh the question? Because me, like this, I've just been listening and listening.
I was asking that, is it a case of the woman being older, or is it a case of access? Yeah, yeah, limited access. Yes, you're not accepting of the woman. Yeah, oh, she's older. Buki has rightly said, the society that we live in now is not ready for a woman who is older than the man, right? And then there's also the angle of, is it that they're not ready, or is it because there's an older woman will be more assertive in saying, lewa lewa, kind of thing.
Okay. So for me, I would not say that
Yeah.
it's really access, because some women still open their doors. I mean, we still see their children go on vacation together. So I do not think it's totally about access. But I think it's because they feel that that person who is older, who has made her own money, would be more assertive. And for me, I think an extra thing to it would be the fact that we are being a bit tribalistic here. If that person who was older was from the same tribe, would all the force be, let's be honest, let us just be honest. If that person was an Igbo person who is doing well, I mean, even some families want you to bring in wealth and support them, and it's not as if the woman is not doing well. So the question is, oh, she's older and she's even Ofemanu. She's not from our tribe. So these two things come to play. It might not be only Yoruba, it might be any other tribe, but that comes to play whether we like it or not, because they are believing, oh, so why should we? Do you understand? I believe these are the things, not really access, because you can still hang out, you can still do your jobs together if you want to. So it's not as if the woman is locking him up inside. You can still access that person. Thank you.
For that. I like the angle, and I know we have to go of intertribal, that it could be because there's always friction. I'm not sure why there should be so much friction when it comes to intertribal marriages, because even inside the same tribe, it's not as if everybody is happy. I think that Nigeria has to come to a point where we just start accepting each other.
Do you know, some people would even say within the same tribe, you shouldn't marry this Agbole. Is that what's Agbole in English?
Exactly. This community or this clan, yes. Even as an Igbo, there are parts of Igbo that my mom would say, do not bring anybody from these parts to me. And you don't introduce the person at all. Yes, and we're all Igbos.
It is well. It is really, thank you so much, ladies, for the different perspectives you've brought on the two topics that we have discussed this morning. I don't know if any of you wants to say something in 1 minute.
No. I'm fine. Let's have a beautiful day, productive day. Let's have a renewed mind. You know, the Bible talks about a transformed mind in all that we do, so that at the end of the day, we can always say, "Oh, I had a fruitful day today."
Thank you so much, Buki. Thanks so much, Susan, for joining us in the conversation today. Oh, I think Susan was saying something.
My own is marry your type. Good or bad, marry your type. You get why? Because when the storms begin to shake you, your type will be by your side. Thank you.
Love that. And that's a good place to end.
Anyway, we have come to the end of today's edition of HerLens. It was a wonderful session with you, ladies. I'm not counting for me. See you tomorrow at 9:05 for another edition. Have a wonderful day.